All right. Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's Bob Turner, and I'm back with podcast episode this will be number 14 of the Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things podcast. I'm sitting here with two extraordinary people today. We've got Sean Snow and Steph Snow on here, Sean's daughter, and they are together. Sean is already a legend in the Concord, New Hampshire area endurance community, frankly, in the Northeast United States endurance community. His daughter Steph's been around him for a long time. I met these guys, I think, back in, it must have been 04 at the Timberman in New Hampshire, a half iron race. And I got to tell you, this guy has just been a big part of my triathlon background, and me being as a hard-nosed competitor as I like to think I am. And I was always out to beat Sean Snow. I don't know that I ever did. I thought I did once. We'll talk about that later. But Sean is he's a role model to his daughter and many endurance athletes. Steph's out there kicking ass and taking names, and she played hockey at UNE right here in Maine, right? And you're an occupational therapist, I think. Am I right? How am I doing so far?
Club hockey, but cross country. Yeah.
And cross country. So she's an accomplished athlete in her own right. So we got these guys on it. You don't get one without the other. They're like, peas and carrots, as they say.
Yeah.
If you see Sean at a race, you see Steph. It's really cool. I like being around you guys. And so thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you being here. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Thanks for having us on, Bob. I mean, it's a pleasure, man. Where do I start? Yeah.
I knew you were gonna struggle. I'm gonna ask you some questions. How's that?
Perfect. Yeah.
So Steph, when did you start racing with or against Dad?
Well, it started with him probably. So it was a 5K, Mother's Day 5K. How old was I?
I think you were probably 8, maybe.
Yeah. 8.
Yeah.
So that was my first race with him. I really wanted to go fast, and he's like, you gotta tone it down. And then I kind of burnt out, and I learned a lesson.
The first 2 miles were great.
Yeah.
The last mile was...
Sounds like me chasing him.
Yeah, we all learn with him.
Well, let's back up a little bit, and we've talked. A lot of people that have watched this podcast will say to me, "Wow, you've done 6 Ironmans." I'm like, you haven't met my friend Sean. So Sean, how many Ironmans have you completed?
33.
33. Let that sink in for just a minute. I mean, one Ironman is like a lifetime accomplishment, right? I mean, there are people that'll watch this and listen to this, say 33 Ironmans. For those of you that are listening, watching, an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and then and then a 26.2 mile run. So it's 140.6 miles. With only a marathon at the end. This guy's done it 33 times. Steph, you've completed an Ironman as well, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Which one?
Lake Placid.
That was Placid, right? So now, are you both signed up for Utah coming up?
No, just myself.
Okay.
We're both signed up for Placid in July.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun. So
yeah, we're both, and then we're both heading to the 70.3 Worlds in Utah end of October. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. So you both last week went out and did the Boston Marathon, right?
Yes.
Now, Steph, is that officially the first time you finished ahead of him?
Officially, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
It is. She beat me.
Yeah.
She beat me. But she beat me to the finish. But I beat her from the finish. My time from the finish to the exit out of the athletes, area was almost the same ratio as what she beat me on the course. Yeah, so I haven't given up yet, and I'm trying to get the total actual time because I may have won the overall actual time combined.
Steph, it sounds like you still have some more work to do.
Yeah, the recovery after the marathon is, I guess, a race too. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. Apparently. So I getting real here. I happened to check the results, before this podcast. Steph went out and ran a 7:37 pace for a 3:19 finish, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good run.
Thank you.
Was that your first open marathon?
So so I
Yeah,
qualified.
that's right. I'm sorry. You had to qualify. Yep.
Yeah.
But
I
so-
qualified. I did the Loco Marathon last October, and then Boston was my second one.
Nice. And did that qualify you for another Boston?
Yeah.
All right. So no pressure, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm kind of having fun with this.
Yeah, I bet.
So Sean, it's a few days removed now. What are we, 10, 12 days out from it? Probably, and I know you well enough to know you could sit down and have a conversation with it after, but it didn't go well. Tell us what happened.
It was going pretty well up until right around mile 11, and just the hamstring decided to go south on me real quick. I was hoping that it was just a cramp at the time, but I kind of knew at the time that wasn't going to be the case. So kind of reevaluate. I thought at first that I was pretty much done for the day. Trying to figure out if I was going to get out of there, if I was going to jump on a tee or, and get out of there. But I knew that it was Steph and my first Boston. And I was able to, as I walked, figure out a way to kind of, I guess you could call it fake it till I made it.
Yeah.
And pretty much opted at that point that not finishing was not an option. So, I kept going. Steph ended up passing me. I don't remember what mile, maybe a mile later. I was in the first wave. Steph was in the second wave. I was able to flag her down and gave her a quick pep talk. Looked her in the eyes and said, "Yeah, go get it."
Yeah.
And then I let her know to let mom know and a girlfriend that you guys can go have dinner after you finish. And then but I'll be there as quick as I can. And it was a long day. I have no regrets. I don't think that I did any more damage with the quote stride that I was taking. It just took a long time.
Yeah.
I will say that I've always said since I started Boston, regardless of the conditions and the race and the challenges of the weather, etc., the crowd, it makes you feel like the race takes 5 minutes, no matter how much pain you're in, no matter what the conditions are. And even though the day took almost 6 hours, I can honestly look back and say, man, it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I when I'd heard that what happened, I was like, it's just a gut punch. And then I looked and I said, oh, he finished. And have you ever not finished?
No,
Right.
I mean, yeah, no, it's it's probably not the smartest, I mean, most, it's all in hindsight on what your condition is, etc. But no, it's I've always said, even in an Ironman, if I broke a chain on a bike, I'd walk until I didn't make the bike cut off. I really would, so. Hey,
Oh.
wait a minute. If we can get
Yeah,
hard dog, they would be like,
Oh my gosh. Wait, Connor, come here.
wait a minute.
Wait, look at this.
Hold on.
Yeah, they're twins. You
Yeah,
guys
wait a
not watching
minute.
this podcast
Twins.
right now. These dogs are twins. I knew he was going to make an appearance, but
Both of them, right?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
he doesn't run the miles that your dog does. But
Oh my God,
well,
no. Connor's all done. What's his name?
his name's Tuck.
Tuck. Oh my God.
Tuck.
Is he a cockapoo?
Yeah,
Is he?
he just turned 2.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
wow.
that's awesome,
He
man.
knows when I'm doing a podcast, and about 5 minutes in, he usually starts, making a pain of himself until I bring him up for a couple of minutes, and then he's out. He just likes to make the screen, and then he's good.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I know the feeling. I mean, when I did Tremblant the last time, I was hurting going into the race, and to your point, your comment about guys go get something to eat. I came through with one run lap to go and said, "You guys, I'm gonna be a while. I'm heading back out of town. I got no business doing it, but I'm not. You're taking me off this race course in a stretcher, or by not by my own free will. I'm not going. And I know you're wired the same way. And I mean, I just got to say, man, the years that you and I, whether I do another Ironman or not, or do any racing remains to be seen. But I'll tell you what, racing against you was really a pleasure, and kept me going. And I always knew that you were out there giving it 110%. And I remember, I'll tell the story of Lake Placid. I think it was 11, and we've got a photo, and I'm going to have Mitchell, the editor guy, the video guy, I'll have him put it in this video right here so people can see it. And it's a picture of us leaving, either leaving transition on the run or going out on the second loop. I think we were just going out on the run, and I had you right in my sights. So the picture is taken right over my right shoulder, and there you are. And I don't know how long I hung on, but I love that picture, man. It just shows two guys out just duking it out. And the thing that I like the most is that no matter how it went, we could always sit down and have some pizza and beer after, and commiserate. And I remember when I think it must have been that same year, I was out ahead of you. It must have been, maybe it was a different year, but I was out ahead of you. I got you at the turn on not River Road, but yeah, there. And then
Road,
back
yeah.
out of town at the end of the race, right? So I'm like,
Yep.
oh, there's Sean Snow. I got him. So I just put the hammer down, got into transition, finished the race. I'm sitting there, you finished, high five and all that. And finally I had beaten you. And then I looked at the results later, and I didn't realize that you started in a wave behind me, and you had actually beaten me by 7 minutes. But I'll tell you, it felt good for a while.
As long as in the moment you were feeling it.
That's right.
That's it.
But I mean, I've come across a lot of people racing, and you're probably the one I enjoyed racing the most. I met a lot of great people, but I always knew that you didn't care who won either. We were gonna duke it out from end line to end line, and you'd have been just as happy for me as I always was for you. So,
Oh God, yeah.
yeah. And you and I chat from time to time on Facebook. We both attempt to play the guitar, and so we got a lot in common. And we have daughters about the same age. So, getting back to you, Steph. I mean, my daughter watched all the same races that you did, and she's not a triathlete. What pushed you in that direction, and what are you doing, and what are you up to?
Well, I think being in sports my whole life and watching him, and I mean, originally I feel like when I would watch it, I would be like, I don't want to be in the water at this point. Like in the mornings watching the swim, and then like it didn't seem appealing at first, but then like I think after doing some races like 5Ks and stuff, and then watching how he did in Kona in 05 when I was young, and then seeing we took a bunch of trips around that time, so I got really exposed a lot, and I just kind of caught the bug at some point. I can't say a certain time, but I think just gradually increasing my time in the sport really helped. And having the Timberman in the state was really helpful.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I think that I'm guessing, but if we're talking goals here, because I know that you guys are both very goal oriented, there's probably a little something brewing around in your dad's head about you guys doing the world championships together someday, right?
Yeah.
That's been we talked about that for many years,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were fortunate enough, and if that day comes back, does happen, it'd be awesome. I mean, we were fortunate enough to, 2005 was back when, you could still across the finish line with, with a family member. And so Steph was, 9 years old, coming across the finish line, with me, and, looking up, and, we still have pictures of that, and, hopefully we can cross-reference those two pictures when it does happen again,
Cool. Yeah.
Well, you got some things working in your favor because, Sean, I know you're a couple of years older than me. Okay, so as you know, if you're still staying fairly fast and you're getting to be an old guy, it starts to work in your favor a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but man, the old guys keep getting faster. I mean, the old guys got more time to train, and they just keep getting it. Just, man, I keep saying that, thinking that, Bob, but man, it just is. It's the old guys are really throwing it down lately. So
no, everybody is. I've had some of my fastest races and go over and look at the results and go, holy cow, how do these guys do it? It's crazy. But it's pretty cool stuff. It's I'd love to see you guys do that. Steph, you're young enough so that on the female side, maybe you're able to grab a slot. I'll tell you what, you guys will be catching lightning in a bottle to both get there in the same year. Man, I'll tell you what, I'd be glued to the computer for the day for that one. That would be fun. That would be the old battle royale right there.
Yeah, I know. There's no doubt on that. I mean, well, battle royale could be the first. Could be in July. That could be the. Her first one. She did. What were you? 19?
20.
You were 20.
Yeah.
Signed up when you were 19.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I didn't want her to do it. She'll tell you. I mean, I didn't. I felt that she was too young, and she was in college, and I just as much as I enjoyed the fact, the thought of her doing it, I was very much against it. And she was 18, and I told her, I said, I can't stop you, and she did, and it was, I wouldn't say a real long day, but I mean,
it was a
long day. And she'll tell you she doesn't remember a lot about the last 13 of the run.
No.
But that's what it's all about. So that was how many years ago? That was
2016.
16. So
it's,
and then honestly, I'd probably say the highlight, the most memorable one I've done is the one that and so I've done 32, but I count this as a 33 because this was during the COVID period in 2020, was it? They canceled Lake Placid, and so Steph, we were supposed to do Ireland together, and that fell through, and Steph wanted to go up because we knew the course in Lake Placid, and we knew that it was somewhat doable to do and just go up and do it. Merrill Lake is a pretty somewhat safe lake to go out and do a double swim on, double loop on, etc. Steph wanted to do the full Ironman, right? So I said, let's just do like the presidential traverse or like the Pemi loop. I think that's probably a better idea. And I'm legit serious, I really am. And Steph says, no, I want to do it.
Wow.
And I said to her, man, I don't know if you realize like how hard of a day this is going to be, because we got we had her girlfriend and another friend came up and for support, so they followed us in my van. But other than that, we had no support up there, and it was open traffic, etc. So, but we went up there and we dressed up like we were racing, and we wore our old race numbers, and we went out and we did the swim. We came out. That day was I want to say it was close to 95 degrees, and came off the bike pretty late. I'm going to say probably around 3:00 in the afternoon. And again, nobody's out there cheering. You got the cars, the trucks all out there, and we get into the into, what we call transition, which is my van, which is parked right by the Lake Placid Brewery. And I looked at Steph. I said, here's the deal. I said, you still want to do this? We got a marathon to run. We're not in great shape. I mean, it's going to be a long day. And Steph said, we're doing this. And I said, I told her, I looked right at her and I said, we need to communicate the whole time. I said, because here's the deal. We don't want to end up in the medical tent.
There isn't one.
Medical tent, right? So we continue on. And after the first loop, a lot of the towns started catching wind that we were out there, and we had people on the sidewalks cheering. It was amazing. And we came back to the van, and God, this was, we had our own aid stations at points, and we were eating pickles, and so we were taking our time, but it was a struggle. And we get back to the van, and we still had the out and back to do on the Mirror Lake Drive there. And a woman from the Lake Placid Brewery comes running towards us, and she says, I got to ask you, did you guys just do the full Ironman? And I looked at her and I said, no, ma'am. I said, we still have a mile to do. And she looked at me, she goes, wow. It was dark. And so we're running, we took off, and we're coming back, and I think Steph was seeing better than I was. And she looks ahead and she says, oh my God. I said, what? She says, they've got a finish line draped across the road. And she pulled all the patrons out, and both of us, got all, pretty much got all welled up and everything. And I told her, I said, we broke the line, and I said, guys, I said, we'll be back. I said, but we still have someplace to go. We got to finish this thing, and we had to go to the oval.
Yep.
And, we finished it on the oval. And, the day, for all the Ironman I've done, that was, hands down, probably one of the hardest I've done and the most memorable. And, the topping of the icing on the cake on it was that summer. Shortly after that, they tore up the Olympic Oval.
Right.
So Steph and I talk about how, we were blessed to maybe be the last, one of the last athletes, to finish the Ironman Lake Placid on the Olympic Oval.
That's crazy.
That was our COVID adventure. But I don't know how I got on that, but anyway, that was a day. That was a day. So,
Yeah.
Now the battle royale is going to happen in July. You heard it here.
For everybody that's
quiet
listening,
about it. She's the one. She's not talking about it. I'm the one that's like, Jesus, I got a lot of work to do here.
She just dropped a 319 Boston on your ass, boy.
I know. No, I know. Believe me, it's in my head.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys that are listening, we're talking to a guy that's, he's not just an Ironman and racer. I mean, you've been fast. I mean, what's your fastest open marathon?
Well, fastest open was 2:55.
There you go. So sub 3 hours. And your fastest Ironman
was a 9:36.
9:36. How many times have you been to Kona?
5 times.
5-time world champion competitor in Kona. So, and I can tell you that, and Sean will attest to this, I have been pretty damn good at this sport and never got a sniff of that. And I'll tell you what, that's one hell of an accomplishment to be able to
Thanks,
say
man.
that.
Well, we can get you there, man.
Yeah.
You got it.
Mhm.
You still got it, man. Don't. Yeah.
My wheels have been fighting with my back and my foot, and geez, I have TT on my elbow today. Everything's falling off, man.
Oh, you don't have to tell me that.
I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go. Let's head to Placid right now.
Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I'm all fired up over here. You guys got me all cranked up. So let's switch gears a minute here. So Sean, you used to have a company called S2 Coaching. Maybe you still do. I know you used to coach a lot of athletes, and then something happened, things changed, and all of a sudden you weren't coaching. And then I found you to be on Facebook, posting an inspirational quote every day, really focusing on everybody else. And I know that you have a morning routine that you do.
Yeah.
And so talk to us about that shift and kind of what happened. And that wasn't 2 years ago. That was 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. And what happened and how did things shift for you? And how is it different today than it was when you would just eat Ironmans for lunch?
Well, yeah, I mean, so the coaching, I spent probably about 5 years doing the coaching thing. And I just, I got, I was blessed. I met a lot of amazing people, wonderful athletes, etc. I just missed the structure of the old job that I had. And that's pretty much what got me back to that. And it wasn't a situation that I felt like I could give my 100% to the athletes and do the job at the same time. I just missed that punch in the clock thing, and Steph was also getting older, and I knew that if it was an avenue that she was going to go, that I wanted to be there 100%. So that's, that was the direction at that point. Thus, the Facebook thing, it was kind of a transition into that, where I really felt the need and still continue to feel the need to, from a word that's used all the time, to inspire. I feel like the world really needs it on so many different levels, especially now, but even back then. And for me, getting away from the triathlon spectrum, if you would, to me, for quite some time, battled the drinking thing, and it was just it was one of those gigs that I could tell as I headed towards my 50s that it was time to get my shit together. If I wanted to continue to do what I did athletically and family, etc., that it was time to get my act together, if you would. And it all started in a nutshell. Steph, my wife Pam, and myself were walking on a beach at UNE, and I looked down, and there were 3 rocks on the sand. And long story short, I picked up the 3 rocks, brought them back to the house that day, put them on the counter in my bathroom, and said, these 3 rocks are, today is the day that it all changes. And that next morning, I set my alarm clock, I want to say maybe for 4 o'clock or whatever it was. And from that point on, it's been a morning, early morning, early bed type routine. And I generally try, over the years, I'd say since I was just right after 50 years old is when so that's going on 6 years now. I generally get up right around 3:15, 3:30, and I've got pretty much the same routine that I do. I get up, I do have my water, have some coffee, roll out the yoga mat, read a little bit of inspiration quotes, out of books, different books, say some prayers, intentions, etc. And then I do a morning post, and every morning it's not, I do, they're very often the same quotes next to a cup of coffee, but they're always done that morning. And regardless of where I am, and it could be at a race. I've got to find some place to go and do my morning routine. I could be, away on vacation, but I still hold true to the routine. And, every once in a while, like after Boston, I actually slept until 5:30, which totally threw me off.
You slept in. What a slacker.
It killed me, man. It killed me. But
Yeah.
no, but and that's to me, it really it changed it all for me. I mean, look, I grew up in a time that that's what we did, man. We partied and we went for it, and I knew that as I got as I aged, that it was important to get it together. It wasn't an easy thing for me to do, but now that I look back, man, it's easy now, and it was a game changer.
Well, it's funny when you boil it down and you start to think about what's really important in life, and when you look at your kids and go, if I make all my decisions with the best intentions of my children at the front of my mind, things get really simple very quickly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll commend you for that, because that's not easy. And I look at that when there's people, I've done 75 hard, and there are people out that are out doing that and do 2 workouts a day, no alcohol, follow a diet, read 10 pages of this and that, drink a gallon of water. Like, you were doing that before it was cool. Okay. And you were doing it for all the right reasons. And I've run into a lot of people, either in triathlon and marathon, that have an addictive personality, right? And sometimes things get ahead of them and they go, whoa, time out. I'm going to trade this addiction for another addiction. And I've said this before on my podcast, where, people look at you running 20 miles on the weekend and, oh, he's crazy. That guy, he's crazy. Look what he's doing to himself. But if you were sitting at the end of a bar 3 nights a week, having beer and pizza, nobody'd say a word, and so kudos to you for blazing a trail there. And I know that you do this because you and I have talked when there's the Bruins. I know you're a Bruins fan. I know you're a Red Sox fan. I've seen you get up in the middle of a playoff game and go to bed because you have to get up. That's, I mean, you don't trade it in for anything. And, that's some commitment, and that's pretty cool. And Steph, I got to believe that for you to see that as a kid, so to speak, his daughter, how does that land on you?
I mean, I think it really inspired me to see him kind of go through those kind of times. And then I think proud is the biggest word I could say.
Sure.
Speaking for, I think, my mom and myself, that just really proud of the man he's become and how he's grown. And it's inspired me to get up earlier than each day, really.
which could be a good or bad thing, man. I got a race to do in July. I don't know, man. All of a sudden she's getting up earlier than I am.
So we send each other a text message every morning, and I always feel a little bit of happiness when I beat him to the message.
No, it kills me, man.
Wait, I get up, right? And so I'm up early one morning, and I'm up early. It's like 4:30 or something. I look at, damn, the freaking Sean Snow's already up, already posted something. So I already know he's been on the mat, done all his shit. And here he is posting something right in my mug. It's 4:15, dude. Give me a break. How early I got to get up to beat you out of bed?
I'll tell you this, but so I'll go back to, and I say this for the people, for people that are what you speak about the addictive personality and doing it too much, triathlon or running or, drinking, what have you. But I will say this on, early on, when I was doing triathlons, I say this because people watching that may say that, I don't have the time, or, don't want to commit to that type of lifestyle. when I have children, and I want to dedicate it towards, taking into the movies and that sort of stuff. And, I really believe that I was doing mountain biking before triathlon, and then the mountain biking turned into triathlon. And I used to spend, an awful lot of time training and et cetera. But my belief as a parent was, we still did our movies and stuff like that. But my belief as a parent was the commitment that it took to do the training, you go out in the rain and you get it done, and the racing, whether it was a good race or a bad race, and all the lessons that I hope that she would watch between the training, the racing, the commitment, and et cetera, would someday, inspire her to, not in triathlon, but in, work or whatever it was. It was an example that I felt like, yes, it took a lot of time and it took a lot of dedication, et cetera. But it was the example that, that I was trying to set for Steph. That the goals, it's not just, they're just not handed to us. It's we got to go out and you got to get it done, and you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And those are the best lessons. And how are you going to rebound when you fail? And she's seen me with literally hundreds of injuries. One right now, and it's how do you react? And how are you going to come back on that? And so that was early on, and it's continued on to where we are now, as a family. And that also is, we talked about the Facebook thing after my coaching, and I would say even more so, my goals are, yes, they are for myself at this point, but I really feel like I've been put on this planet to inspire how I can, and, look, I could probably, I could probably pretty easily say, I think I'm good, I could walk away, and,
nobody would argue with you.
I don't know, it would be easy to do, but, to scale it down, or, say, okay, I'll just, stick with, shorter races or what have you. But I really do feel like, I think the world needs to see people out there, I really do. And, the world needs to see people out there putting it down or failing, and, training, and, the lessons, and I just feel like there's the role, at my age now, it's come to a point where seeing, for me, I've had, countless role models, including yourself, buddy, and I appreciate all the kudos to me, but that goes right back to, that goes to you too, man. You've been a role model, since the day we met. And, you've been that badass guy from Maine, that I'm chasing down. And, you say that you're chasing me down. Well, I know that there's been races, buddy, that you beat me. And there's been races that I've been chasing you down. And I see this guy that, look, we're a little bit of different build, and you're just freaking just throwing it down. And I'm looking at him going, Jesus, you're a beast, especially on that freaking bike. How many times have
Remember
you
when I'm gonna tell a funny story.
me on the ass when you're going by saying, hey, buddy, and I'm like, I'm doing like 26 miles an hour, and you're, I do, man. You know it, but I'm like, all right, you can't, and I'm like, he ain't gonna hold it, man. I'm gonna catch him on the run.
Yeah, you did.
And somehow we'd be close, but it's that to me is what it's all about, but via Facebook or or whatever, this thing called Zoom, which I'm just starting to learn about, it's however we can inspire, each other, man. That's what it is.
It reminded me of a story. I think it must have been the White Mountain Tri. It was like I don't know if it was a half. It might have been a half or something.
No, it was a half. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You showed up on that grocery getter. And, I saw you in transition. I go, holy crap. I said, if you beat me on that, I'm going to retire. Son of a bitch, if you didn't go by me at about mile 48. I go, oh my God.
Yeah, well, I think I did, Bob, but when you saw me, you said, yeah, I didn't have any of that, man. It was like, ah, shit, you guys, he's out of here.
That thing
But
like
no,
a swim or something, got the bat like a freaking cages on the pedals and everything. We've we've had a lot of fun, and I've appreciated your friendship and camaraderie and competition over the years. And Steph, it's just super cool to see you in it and in it to win it and out there with that same tenacity that comes from the old man, so to speak. And I can't even imagine how proud you are, Sean, to see her out there racing and doing her thing. And I know when you talk about those lessons that you just talked about, I tried to do the same thing. And win, lose, or draw, you always hold your head high and say, well, there's a lesson in here somewhere. And if you played sports when you were younger, you can say, hey, a lot of what I learned on the athletic field. And I do agree. And it's part of why I'm doing this podcast, is that people they need a little more of this. And
need a lot more of this.
Yeah, and I've just realized that I've got more to give, and that's what I'm doing. I don't know where it's going, but getting myself out there doing this, getting people that I think are just out there kicking ass in life, and letting people know about it. And because there's somebody out there that's going to watch this and go, wow, they're going to get something from that. There's a nugget in there somewhere, and that's pretty cool stuff. And not a week goes by when I don't get a message when somebody says, hey, that was a great podcast, or I really like what you're doing. You got great guests. Thanks for doing this. Keep doing it. I enjoy it. So that fuels me. It's just a good time and really great to connect with you guys. I'll ask you a couple more questions before I'll let you go. And I thank you for taking the time tonight. I know you're busy. So what would you guys say to somebody that's either, not doing a lot, or got down over COVID, or got off their game, or how does somebody get back going and you don't have to be out, training for the Olympics, but, how do you get people going? What would you say to inspire somebody that's looking for a little bit of motivation today?
You want to start, or you want me to?
I'd say just take it step by step. Like, it's hard to, to look and someone say like, it's going to be great, right away. But like, when you just put in the work, even just a little bit at a time, it'll, you might not see it, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I think like, I find myself doing that every day. And I try to channel that in my head. And I'm like, at this type of moment in the day, I might be really struggling, but I know I'm going to make it through, because it's just, you have to have that attitude and that positivity.
Well, and doing an Ironman too does give you that, you bring a new perspective to work and life when you finish one, because you're like, well, even when I work out these days, my workouts, at the gym, they beat me up pretty good. These trainers, it's only an hour. I'm like, and I tell them, I get right in their mug. I'm like, how bad can you really hurt me in an hour? I do this for 12 hours, so they love me.
Yeah.
So Sean, how about you?
I would say, God, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity that's come along the past, especially the past couple of years for us, with the inner motivation, with the challenges that we faced. During COVID, with the 2 years and losing the races and, and everything else that happened, I felt that the way I looked at it was each day was an opportunity to grow. And, I've learned and continue to learn about myself, the strength that to motivate myself regardless of what's going on in the world. For me, it was, at work, with a high stress job, wearing the masks and continuing to perform at that certain level, regardless. It was, reserving a lane at the Y, at setting, you had one of 4 shots to get a lane. You're setting your alarm clock at 11:55 to try to get a lane at 12 o'clock midnight for 2 days later, 1 lane. And you hit that button and you're 3 on the wait list. You didn't get it. So now you can't sleep for 2 hours because you're all ticked off,
Right.
To me, those were all opportunities. And it's easier, I guess it's easier said than done. But I really believe that, setting a goal and, people, I've got a friend, a coworker, and what does he call me? He calls me, he says, crazy. Yeah. You crazy, but he'll tell customers that, I cast this, spell on them by, convincing them that they can do something. But the reality is this, man. And, you've been around it, Bob, you've seen it all, man. I've seen Dick Hoyt pushing Ricky. I've seen Sarah Reinstein, with one leg finishing Hawaii. John Blaze with ALS finishing Hawaii. Countless people that against all odds, doing what they did or are doing what they're doing. And I feel like if you just set a goal, regardless of your health, your mental state, etc., if you can set a goal that's, seems like it's really out of your comfort zone, you make a commitment to chase it. You get that what, you find that why within, and you go after it every day. And I really, in a crazy way, I've looked at the past 2 years as an opportunity to get stronger. And it hasn't been, just like everybody else, man. I've had some pretty rough times through it. I lost my motivation at times, but I really do believe that. And and we still are in some pretty struggling times, obviously, with everything going on. But with that, each day it's my choice. What I'm going to bring to that day. And what I'm going to focus on that day. And if you've got a goal, if you've got a marathon, or you've got a 5K, or you want to hit all the 4,000 footers. Whatever it is, if you've got that goal, man, it lights that fire every day. And, it brings, there's a certain energy. It gets your mind off of all of those issues that are going on in the world, and, it's there. And it really is. The bottom line is I firmly believe that I've never talked to a person, and I will honestly say this in my life, that I've said, if I say you could do a marathon, I didn't believe it, right. But they've got to believe it. You got to believe it, and you can tell me all day, that you have a knee problem or a back problem or whatever you got going on. I'm convinced you can still do it. I really am, and I know that sounds crazy, but I really, and I'm not talking about going out and running it fast. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about walking, I'm talking about doing what I did in Boston, a 23-minute mile walking, it can be done. But it's not, you're just pushing, but ultimately, really, it's not the race itself that triggers it's the race it's the journey to the race that's what it's all about. So the race itself is the race itself. And, I'll tell people, I spend $1,200 on an Ironman, just to sign up,
That's just to sign up. Yeah.
$1,200, and people will be like, that's absolutely, it's crazy, so I can tell you right now, this year alone, in the Ironmans that I'm signed up for, I've got probably $3,000 or $4,000 in sign up, and it is the best $3,000 or $4,000 that I could spend, because it gets my ass going every single day. And I've never put a price tag on any race that I've signed up for. or any goal that I've gone after, and I can see that, when I see coworkers, when I see friends that that do this stuff, and then all of a sudden they break a new barrier. You can just see it in their eyes. You can see the bounce in their step, and suddenly the weight of the world is off them, And I really, anybody watching, I believe that you can do it. I really do. I really believe it. So, at the end of this podcast, man, I want you to go out and sign up for something.
All right.
Sign your ass up for a 5K, half marathon, whatever it is, man. Get signed up, commit to it, and then send Bob all your stories.
Well, I've got an open challenge for you guys too before we wrap this up. I know you've climbed a lot of mountains. I don't know if you've ever climbed Katahdin.
No, so she has. I have not. So that is.
I think we've got to put it on the schedule, my friend. I'm
scared shitless of that knife's edge thing.
You know what I'm scared shitless of? Chasing you up over the presidential loop. That's what I'm scared of. One morning I get up, it's like 5:30. You're already on the top of the Franconia notch. I mean, what's going on? Cocky guy. Jesus. Like,
well, we'll make it a plan.
What's that?
We'll make it a plan. We'll do the Katahdin, and then at some point we'll do that traverse.
Yeah, that's good. I'd like to check those boxes. We've got a place up on the lake up north, and we can make a weekend of it. And I'd love to get you up there, my friend. And Steph, you're welcome to join us. Maybe beat him up the hill. So
yeah, we'll do a race.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks. This is cool. You've been on my list. I messaged you a couple of months back. I think, Sean, you were one of the first people I reached out to do this. And I've had it, like I said, I've had a hell of a lot of fun just being around you and going to races and knowing I was going to see you. And I'd love to spend some more time with you and do some more epic stuff together even. And it would just be, a great addition to my life. I'm telling you. So
absolutely, man. And right back at you. I look forward to many more, man. I really do. I know that there's some challenges going on physically, but I really believe that those challenges are they're going to be tackled, man.
Yeah.
We got some stuff to do.
We need like a full body off restoration.
If I tell you what, how are your hamstrings right now?
Not too bad. You need one?
Yeah. You got to trade your hamstring for a shoulder.
Yeah, maybe an L5S1. How's the lower back?
I'm not giving you guys any of them.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Folks, this has been the Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things podcast. This is Steph Snow and her dad, Sean Snow. Just two quality people that I've enjoyed having in my life. Guys, thank you very much. People, check us out on, we're listed on, it lives on Podbean. We're on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube or give us a subscribe. And I'll post this out to Facebook. It'll come out. I put it out on Wednesday, so you guys will be out a week from yesterday. So look for that. I'll tag you in it, and I'll be really excited. People are going to love this one. This has been a hell of a lot of fun.
Been a blast, man. Thank you. And thanks for everybody for having us.
Thanks for having us.